Black Yellow Luffy loses to Enel. Black Yellow Luffy has a difficult matchup into Enel. That statement pisses me off. And I've sat back and watched too many players on stream lose with Black Yellow Luffy while going against Enel because they play the matchup all wrong. Hi, my name is Damien and this is Fully Charged TCG. In set 7, I am a Black Yellow Luffy main. Bumblebee Luffy, Taxi Luffy, whatever you want to call it. I'm about to load up a game against Enel, and I'm going to run you through how I beat Enel. Ever since deploying this strategy, I win against Enel 100% of the time. So you can see this are opening hands. I did choose to go second. I simply loaded up the lives. Now, before I implemented this strategy, I did lose to Enel quite a little bit. I do a search here and find nothing. It was a worse feeling. I do a second search. I'm going to take that Rocket Luffy every single time. I didn't mulligan my hand because I had the Ice Age. And I am mulliganing with Enel, against Enel. I'm mulliganing for Ice Age and I'm mulliganing for Ting Drop Kuzan. I run 2 Kuzan and 1 Ice Age right now in this build. So here I am just going to simply end up passing turn. Why? Because this is the mistake that I see Black Yellow Luffy players make. They try to rush down Enel. You can't rush down Enel. You can't do it. No matter how turbo you go, they're going to always be at that 1 life. They have that big hand. And all you've done when you rush them down to 1 life, when you're not ready to kill them, is set up Kingdom Come. And then they can just kill anything on your board. So you're going to notice here, I don't attack them. They think, oh, I'm going to go ahead and drop this Kukunojo, and it's just going to be safe because they're not going to give me a life. Guess what? I top deck Thunderbolt. You can have the extra life. Because I'm going to put this Enel player in the position where if he wants to Kingdom Come anything in my board, which is going to be the only way for him to really remove stuff besides Night Drop Yamato, he's going to have to do it by critting all of his lives. And Enel doesn't want to do that. So all I'm going to start doing is establishing board. I'm kind of thinking through my play here with what I have. And I'm like, okay, what should I go ahead and establish here? Pass turn. Because I don't want to attack. I don't have nothing to establish. All I'm thinking here is, okay, I need to get as many of my 5-cost bodies on board so that I can set up at a really aggressive turn where I take him all the way down to 1, but then I have so many bodies that he can't respond to all of them within that turn. So I'm just going to play this Luffy, and then I'm going to drop into Ivankov. This is so just in case he tries to do anything crazy. I want to establish Ivankov, just have the body set up. I also want to put a Rocket Luffy in my life. That's the main reason I'm playing Ivankov. 1, it gives me a trigger if you play something small that can KO his characters. 2, it sets me up where I know what my top life is, and anytime I need to take it, I can. If I pull into a baby Luffy, I can play that. But all I'm doing here, I'm focusing on establishing board and controlling whatever he plays. And also trying to get through my deck and hopefully get into a Gecko Morio, which is why I'm using the, what I call Buff Luffy, the 5 cost that just grows, to go ahead and put me in a position where, hey, I can continue to take lives and draw cards. He's kind of thinking through his plays here and what he wants to do. I believe this turn he decides to drop a... No, he just passes. So I'm like, chill. I have a baby Luffy in the drop. I have a baby Luffy, and I top decked a Gecko, which is what I was digging for. So now I'm just going to go ahead and attach 2 to my leader. Set up ability. I'm going to go ahead and just Gecko, and I'm going to put that Luffy, and I'm going to put a Garp Searcher. And I'm going to go ahead and crit the life to gain and draw a card. That way I can go ahead and recycle. So I went ahead and used 5-drop Luffy's ability. Now I'm going to Gecko. I'm going to Gecko into that Luffy, into that Garp. I'm going to search, grab another baby Luffy. So what I've done here is this turn, I now have a lot of pressure on the board. His next turn, I'm going to be able to do, on my next turn, I'm able to swing as much as I want to. And I have 3 solid attackers on board, plus my leader that gets really big. And I have a Sabo in my life, where I have a baby Sabo in hand. Plus, I also have a 5-cost ace, where at any point I can drop that and rush in with another attacker. So all I'm doing is going wide. And yes, this Enel player has not established much, but that's because Enel plays towards their big bombs. Their mid-game does nothing to Luffy. Black Yellow Luffy completely negates Enel's mid-game. If they Dagatsu, doesn't matter. Most of your cards are going to be above that threshold where they can't KO it. Even late game, I know what you might be thinking. Well, Yamato is going to get a ton of value. Not if you start Saboing. And he drops a Katakuri. And then he removes the Ivankov, which I think was a huge misplay. But I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to put me in a position where I couldn't cycle that Luffy. To his defense, he doesn't know this. But no matter what, I have the Ice Age in hand. So no matter what, even if he put the Luffy there, I would have played both babies out and still done it. This was the mistake I did make. I played Ice Age before swinging, and if that was like an Onami trigger, that would have been really bad. It wasn't an Onami trigger, it was a Beijing trigger. I got lucky. I'm going to go ahead and boom, get rid of the Katakuri and draw one. Nuts. Then I'm going to be able to play out the Sabo, making nothing KO'able. I do make a small misplay here in just a second. You'll see what it is. But I go ahead and I play out the Sabo, and I'm kind of debating what do I want to pitch here. Yep, let's get the big guys in the drop. I think I go ahead and choose to pitch the Searcher because I want the combo power in my hand. But now I'm going to crit the Ivankov and gain +2 to my Luffy. Now I can attach 2 to my leader. I'm ready to do leader effect. I still have a baby Luffy in hand. This is the misplay I make where I go ahead and I put the Sabo and baby Luffy on top of my deck. And then I do play, or I put two Luffys, sorry. I put 2 Rocket Luffys, and then I play it out, and then I start swinging. I did that to get the extra boost to my leader, but I should have not done that, just because you'll see he does get a pretty solid trigger. And because of that's the only thing that's not protected, guess what happens? This is why I said I got lucky, because the Onami trigger was the next trigger. It was Beijing, then Onami. So I did get lucky with that Ice Age play. That was a misplay. Always swing before you play out what you're doing. At first, I didn't realize that he had Beijing because I wasn't paying attention to the side screen. But I go ahead and swing 11 with leader. I'm going to put him on 2 life, and then I'm going to play another Ivankov. I'm going to play another Ivankov out because why not? Set up another blocker and another body that I can just attach 1 onto next turn and swing. Now I swung out, and no matter what he does this turn, Yamato can't KO anything besides Ivankov. ACOS Katakuri ain't gonna do no good. Tin Drop Ace can't rush. No matter what he does, I have a bunch of bodies. I have a bunch of bodies on board to swing out with next turn. And I still have Ace in my hand to drop and rush if I need to. Plus, I have Kuzan, which if he doesn't take a life from me, I could potentially play Kuzan with 2 blockers and Kuzan coming down and be safe from whatever he has. He just concedes. Just concedes right there and concedes. We can see in his hands, he does have that Kingdom Come. But for the majority of the game, there was no good time to play it. And in late game here, he couldn't because of Sabo. And if he played it earlier in the game, it would have done him no good. It would have literally done him no good. He would have been critting 5 lives. And since implementing this strategy, I win against Enel 100% of the time. I have not lost to Enel since implementing this. You do not want to attack Enel. You do not want to try to rush them down. You need to establish your boards. Now, there is a few key things about my list. One, you need to get the Ice Age or you need to get the Kuzan into your hand. Some people aren't playing Tin Cost Kuzan. I understand why they're not. I have my reasons for playing it. But if you're playing just the Ice Age version, then you're going to want to mulligan for Ice Age, because whatever their first big body that comes down is, you're going to want to KO it. Ideally, you're also going to be running Thunderbolt. But if not, then the only thing you won't be able to hit is the 10 cost Ace. And since you're not taking them down to 1 life, he won't have rush the turn they play him. They're losing part of the value. So a lot of times I'll opt to play one of the characters that you can KO with Ice Age. So what you're going to want to do is make sure to mulligan for that card. But you want to go as wide as you can with as many 5 cost Geckos. And if you do run 10 cost Kuzan, big old Kuzans, and once you have 4 or 5 attackers, that's when you pressure in. You put them in that position where, hey, dropping just 1 big body this turn ain't gonna do nothing for me. And if you don't rush into 1, they cannot Kingdom Come. And since implementing this strategy, mwah, chef's kiss, I always beat an L. I'm going to be continuing to make Black Yellow Luffy videos. I'm going to have other videos as well coming up, but I am going to be doing Black Yellow Luffy content specifically because that is what I'm going to be taking down to the last chance qualifiers in Dallas, Texas, is Black Yellow Luffy. So there will be a lot of that content coming to the channel. However, I will also be doing other deck profiles, other videos. So if you like One Piece or card games in general, consider subscribing to Fully Charged TCG. I'm Damien, and I will see you next time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment below. Yeah, if you want more Enel gameplay, I can do that as well. I know there's gonna be those people that are like, he didn't draw that good. It doesn't matter what he draws. Doesn't matter what he draws. With this strategy, you should win easily 80 to 90% of the time. And so far, I have not lost to Enel since implementing it. See you guys in the next video. Peace.